This is going to be a video where I walk through the steps to convert my home office desk to a desk that can lift up and down, so I can do stand and work at the same time. Working from home because of the pandemic, I realize I do a lot of sitting all day, so it'd be good health-wise to stand, get up and down some more. So this is an old desk that I got from my grandfather, inherited. This was his work desk back in the day. Oak, solid, heavy, and I love it. It's a big tabletop. You can see I'm not the most kempt person, but we're going to neaten that all up because we're going to convert it to a tabletop that raises up and down. So to change from the desk that sits on the floor to a desk that lifts up and down, went online to a company named Autonomous, and I'll share the link to the desk in the description. This is the box. Ordered it probably at the start of the year, so it took a few weeks. They were out of certain colors. I originally ordered black, and they reached out to me and said that they had white and gray, so I asked for white. So this is the box that arrived, 60 pounds, and that's essentially what it is going to look like. So let's open it up. Okay, I've got all of the parts out of the box, unwrapped, and the parts you would expect to see for a desk. And I have to say that just the construction of this is very solid. I think the rated capacity that this thing will lift up and down is like 250 pounds, maybe more. I'll look and find out the specifics and let you know. So yeah, not many pieces here, and so I'm going to go ahead and get constructing, putting it together. Okay, so the instructions say to get your tabletop and flip it over and start from there, but I'm not quite yet ready to take the tabletop off the old desk yet. So I'm going to assemble the frame, and the first step we're going to do is attach the legs to the base frame that will go underneath the tabletop. So I'm going to get that into position. Okay, so the first part is to find the tabletop frame and the legs. You know, again, looking at the instructions, you set the legs down first, and then you come in with the tabletop frame and you slide it over the top of the legs on each side, and you can see there's nice planned cutouts there for the cable connectors. And from there, then it's these 6x12 Allen screws. There's 2 on the front and 2 on the back that we're going to go ahead and screw those into place. All right, so let's take care of that. Okay, I've got all the screws in, and you know, start off with just using your fingers to get it in there. Make sure it's threaded properly before you kick in the Allen wrench. You don't want to go cross-threaded on these. But yeah, it's nice and solid. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, the next step is to attach the feet to give it more stability. And you can see that there's holes, threaded holes already there. And the feet, again, just simple connect in there. There's cavities in there where you can thread the Allen screws, 4 on each leg, or foot, I should say. And the screws that we're going to use here are the 6x14s. Okay, we got the feet installed, and the only tip I'll share is loosely get the screws threaded before you tighten them down. That way you can get all 4 in there. And so we got the feet installed on both sides. All right, the next thing we're going to do is install these plates that help hold the table or secure it to the table. You do have to flip it back right side up at this point. And the two plates that go on either side, you're going to center those holes up. And we're going to use the same screws that we used to attach the legs to the frame. So we're going to put two here, and then we'll do the other two on that side. Okay, got the plates installed. Very simple. Threading the screws first by hand, and then using the Allen wrench to tighten things up. Very solid, very sturdy. Again, this thing is 60 pounds so far. All right, next let's attach the controller and the electronics. Okay, according to the instructions, you're supposed to start attaching the controller and the little up and down buttons to the actual surface. So again, I'm not ready to do that just yet, but I've got everything plugged in. Very easy. This is to your button controller. These are the two connectors that go out to each of the leg motors. And I just measured it. The lowest level is 27 inches, plenty low for most anyone. And then all the way up to 44.5 inches. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like as we raise the height. Very quiet. And fairly quick too. And that's the max height, 44.5 inches. So that's pretty good. All right, so next thing we're going to do is take apart the current desk, get the tabletop off, and then we'll come back and get it installed on the top of the frame here. All right, guys, before I go any further, I thought I'd give you a little bit of the information on the website. Again, autonomous.ai. I went to their sell option, and right at the top, it's the standing desk frame by Autonomous X Timotion. $269, that's what I paid. Click shop. And it brings you up to the details again. Currently white and gray only. So specs, let's go down. Height range again, 25 to 45. I measured 44.5. No big deal. Very quiet, 40 dB. We go into the deep dive of specs. And here you can see it can go wide. You can extend this out from 42 to almost 71 inches. That's pretty cool. I think my desk is measured 5 feet in width, so I'm going to adjust that accordingly. In terms of lifting capacity, 270 pounds. That's awesome. So this tabletop that I'm going to use here is going to be heavy. And then I've got all the monitors and my equipment and the laptop on top. So we're going to make sure that that gets all there on top, get that connected. All right, so dual motor, and the warranty, pretty solid. 5 years on the frame and 3 years for the control box. So should be plenty good for what we're going to use here at the home office. All right, let's take the next steps. Okay, I have my old desk disassembled. Took a while to get everything off of it. And I have loaded it to the top of the frame. I have not secured it yet. I just stretched the frame out. The instructions say leave 2 inches from the edge of the tabletop to where the frame's going to be. And so I've stretched mine out to roughly 56 inches, I think it is. Again, the tabletop is 60 inches or 5 feet. And I've got it all connected. Again, I don't have it yet secured, but here's the controls, and let's do a quick lowering test. Yeah, no issues there. Going up. No issues there. So It is working absolutely wonderfully based on this solid tabletop as I knew it would. Again, 270 pounds lifting capacity, no issues there. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand down the top and get a new finish on it and try to make it look new again. Okay, I have the desk tabletop down here in the garage, and it's time to start sanding. You can see a lot of cup stains, water stains, all of that over decades of use. So there's a lot of nice grain here in this top. Let's see if we can get it back to something that looks a lot nicer. All right, I'm gonna break out the sander. Okay, I've spent about 30 minutes sanding down the tabletop, and I have blown off the sawdust in between each round. And then I got a wet cloth, and I have wiped it down to try to get more of the sawdust out. So as it's a little damp, I'm gonna now sand it one more time and then go over it with a finer sandpaper. You can kind of see how nice some of the grain looks on this. I'm not exactly sure what year it was built, but I'm really happy to have this desk. So I want to make the most out of it, make it look as nice as possible. Okay, I'm done sanding, and before I put any stain on it, I'm going to use this Pre-stain wood conditioner. That'll help the wood and the grain soak up the stain that I am going to put on it, give it a much more even coat. Yeah, so let's apply that conditioner. Okay, I've applied the wood conditioner, and you can really start to see the grain come out. Looks really nice. Look at that on the side of the trim there. Lots of rustic look, lots of character. I'm still gonna put stain on it, but just the conditioner really helps it to soak up and show that grain. All right, next gotta go pick out some stain, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, I got back from the store and I picked out my stain. I'm gonna go with a barn red, semi-transparent. That is intentional. I am looking for that kind of red color stain finish, and then once we get done with that, we're gonna do some clear gloss on top of it. So we'll get started putting the stain on now. Okay, I got the first coat of stain on. Again, barn red, semi-transparent. You can still see the grain in there. It looks really nice. Takes about 2 hours to dry. So I'm gonna let it dry fully, come out and do the second coat in 2 hours. All right, just got through putting the second coat of stain on, and this is actually next day. It took longer for the first coat to dry, but you can see with the morning sunlight, all the grain in there. I'm very happy with it so far. A lot of character from that wood. Again, several decades old. Barn red is the color that I put on. And I'm sure there's more quality jobs that could be done on this table, but I'm happy with what I've gotten out of it so far. All right, we're gonna let this dry. All right, so the second coat of stain has dried. Not tacky, that's the key check here. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put one coat of lacquer or clear coat And I'm going with the gloss. I want this to really stand out and shine. You can really see the grain coming through nicely after the stain. But yeah, let's go ahead and put one coat of clear on the top. Okay, I have now actually put a couple of coats of lacquer on there, clear coat, and looking pretty good. It dries real fast too, maybe less than 30 minutes. I've got a little gentle breeze out here helping to dry things off. So overall, looking pretty good. All right, another reason why I went with Barn Red was because I've got the white frame, so I think the red and white would look great. The main reason is that I am a college graduate of NC State University, home of the Wolfpack, and so I am going to apply some decals to make this official. So I've got Tuffy, the logo there, and then I've got the Block S. So the next steps are to get these vinyl decals attached, and once I got those positioned, then I'm going to put another coat of lacquer on the table to seal them in real good. All right, let's get moving with the decals. Okay, I got the decals down on each corner. I just followed the instructions from the decal. I used a couple of rulers to get them into roughly the same spot. And while the shapes are different, they came on square adhesive paper, so I used that as the border. All right, so now we're gonna put final coats of lacquer over the top and give it an additional clear coat covering, and that'll protect the decals as well. Again, these are vinyl decals. All right, let's get started on the final coats. All right, we have the table inside the garage now. I've got it covered in tape on the bottom edges, and also an old tarp here to catch what will be the epoxy that I'm going to pour on it. And the epoxy is going to help give it that mirror, true glossy finish that will go on top of the already sealed and stained tabletop. And that will also provide an extra layer of protection over the vinyl decals on both corners. So next thing we got to do is get the epoxy kit set up and ready. And went to the store and picked up Glaze coat. This is the 1 gallon, about $65 worth of clear coat. 1 quart covers about 6.5 square feet. This is about 18 square feet. So we're gonna get the epoxy all mixed up and go to that next. Okay, I've got the epoxy kit, both the hardener and the resin. The simple instructions are, we're gonna do 1-to-1. I'm gonna use it all. I'm gonna pour the resin first in here to the bucket and then pour the hardener immediately in. Again, 1-to-1 mix is important. Mix for 6 minutes. Then we're gonna pour it on top of the table. Spread it out evenly. We'll use the roller, and then I've also got this putty knife that we use to help even it out. And the epoxy is supposed to self-level, and then there may be bubbles. We'll use a heat gun to get the bubbles out. So, all right, I'm gonna walk through that stage and be right back. Okay, I've added the glaze, and it was very easy. Once I mixed it, poured it all on the top, and then just kind of used that little tiny roller there to help spread it. And then I walked around the table with the heat gun, blew out any bubbles, and you can see it's looking like that gorgeous mirror glassy like finish. The instructions say cure dry time is about 8 hours. So we're gonna close up the garage door and let everything cure and dry, and we'll go from there. All right, so we've got the tabletop back upstairs, and I've set it on the frame. It actually took about 3 days to fully cure the epoxy, but the mirror-like shine is looking great. So next we're going to secure it to the frame and attach all of the motor and the electronics to the underside of the table, and we'll do that next. Okay, so we're going to get the table back on here, but just for instructional demonstration purposes, these are the 8x19 Phillips screws, and we're going to use these on both ends to attach to the underside of the table. Okay, to secure the frame to the tabletop, they give you these caps that come in from the bottom side of the frame. Push those on there, and then there's a rubber grommet that we'll put on top. And then once those are secured, there's a Phillips screw that will go from underneath and secure into the tabletop. So there's 4 of those, 1 on each corner to secure it. So let's do that next. Okay, the caps and the rubber grommets, very easy to assemble. You can tell too that the rubber grommet is going to act kind of like a little shock absorber, and also to provide a little bit of separation so that the screws don't go too far into the wood, and they'll kind of act as like compression. All right, let's get the tabletop on there and get it secured. Okay, unless you got lots of hands helping you out, it's best to flip the table upside down, and that's the easiest way to get it secured. So I've got it upside down, I've got the frame on top, I'm going to get the frame into position. I made some pencil marks based on once I had it into the position where I want it. I am going to move the frame to the back side to help with the offside weight. I'm going to attach monitors and a monitor arm on the back side, so it's going to be heavier on the back side. So to help balance that out, I'm going to push the frame a little further back. All right, so let's move forward with that, securing the frame to the tabletop. Okay, I've got the frame secured to the tabletop, all 4 corners, and I've got the control unit secured in the middle of the frame, and I used a zip tie to get the excess cable. Now we're going to do the little button control, and these are 5x19 screws that we're going to attach here to the end. So let's do that next, and then we'll secure the excess cable with another cable tie. Okay, I got the button control attached, and the package does come with cable ties. These are really handy as well to use. I'm going to save these probably to get the power cable secured, but I used one of my zip ties and then a cable tie to take up the slack there. Everything's neat and tucked away there inside the frame and the table. So let's flip the table upright and get it plugged in. Okay, I've got the table upright and plugged in. Let's give it a quick test with the controls. Hold it down. As soon as you let go, it stops. Going down this time. Pretty quick, nice and quiet too. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you're like me and you're working remote from home, whether full-time or part-time, it's nice to have this option so you can stand and work much healthier than sitting all day. All right, good luck with your project.